Hello, everyone. Good evening. I believe we are all having a very good spring break. This is the video for my reflection 5, and I believe we are all enjoying the whole thing so far. It's quite sad this happens to be the last one. I wish we could have more. To set the ball rolling for this week's questions and prompts that we are supposed to respond to, the first one being, to what extent does college or university manifest the characteristics of a successful community? I would say a college or a university with a successful community, according to the reading or a gathering from the reading, is one that is purposeful, open, just, disciplined, caring, and celebrative, according to what I gathered from the reading. And I believe Ohio University stands in this particular regard. Again, there was a part that also made mention of the place having a high sense of belonging, security, and general involvement for each of the members to grow and develop. And Ohio University, as we know, has these characteristics of a successful community, in the sense that our learning communities, where students engage meaningfully among themselves, offers what we call that sense of belonging, especially for those who are coming in new. They get that sense of belonging in our learning communities, and campus organizations also offer the same thing. Campus security, I would say, is over 90% or even 95% or more. We don't hear a lot of issues regarding students being involved in any negative situations that much. Sexual harassment and all those things are not very common in this campus, so I would say security is very high here. Again, for involvement, for that one, there's nothing to say there. One thing I noticed about Ohio University when I arrived here is the fact that there is that high sense of involvement from faculty down to all students. We are involved in virtually everything. One that easily stands out that we can see as in terms of involvement is when Ohio University, there was the plan for a new president to be chosen. We saw how students were involved in the process from the beginning to the end, and that shows how we are all involved in everything that goes on in your class. Every single person was involved. We were all invited to attend and share our views on some of those processes. So I guess involvement, even in class, for example, our views and opinions are respected in the classrooms, and so on and so forth. The second prompt, which environmental features, physical, human, aggregates, organizational, or social, constructed on your campus most support the experience of community among students. Here, as I mentioned earlier, I would say our learning communities, campus organizations and clubs, student leadership associations such as the Graduate Student Senate, SPA, for example. All these particular organizations also help in promoting organizational sense of belonging. It helps to promote what we call support student experiences on campus here. Other human aggregates could be sporting activities that goes on campus, can also create that particular sense of belonging. The third one, if I was to ask students where they find or they experience much sense of community, I would say majority of them would quickly mention, for me, I think most of them would quickly mention areas where there's that peer engagement, where they get to mingle with their peers, such as the classrooms, for example. Learning communities, again, could be a place some of them would mention, such as interest clubs and organizations and clubs that share their interests. Some of them will also mention that. But I would say that one area that we can't do without, or most students in my mind will also mention, will be sporting activities. I remember how excited I was when I watched my first football game at the Pedin Stadium. The cheers from the whole community of students that were there at that time, the excitement and the buzzing, it was all a spectacle to behold. And trust me, I would say that there's no feeling that creates that sense of engagement and that sense of love and unity among students. At that time, there's nothing like race, there's nothing like gender identity or other forms of identities there. We forget who we are. We only remember we are all one community. Especially when you hear the whole crowd shout together, "Oh, you!" and they shout, "Oh, yeah." That alone gives that excitement, and there's that joy in there. What stands out as unique about student experiences at my institution, I would say, I don't know much about other campuses in the US, but if I am to be honest, I would say there is no campus, literally no campus in the world, that can boast of having high diversity and inclusion than OU. Even looking at how there are different cultures that mix up here on this campus alone in Athens tells you that uniqueness of student engagement in Ohio University. What would I recommend for change about my environment, the features or whatever? I would say nothing. I don't think anything needs to change here. Clearly, OU has one of the best campuses here in the US and across the world. But in one of my videos, I made mention of something I would recommend, and that is what I would say again, even though I wouldn't recommend any changes here. But one thing I would like to see is a place which is designed for creative minds. In other words, let's say a community or a physical space for creativity, where people can easily go and think of creative ideas, submit creative ideas. We think about it because there are so many people who have creative ideas, but it's leveled, where do I take it? And that's the problem. And I believe if there is that here, that those people too can find that engagement they need. Even though students are being trained well, everything is moving well, but that particular space being provided would be another way to create that sense. Thank you very much for everyone, and continue to enjoy your break. See you soon in class.